A few minutes past 8 o'clock last night occurred one of the most startling tragedies that has happened in Fort Worth for many days. A few feet north of the entrance to the White Elephant Saloon, just in front of the little shooting gallery run by a woman, Luke Short shot and killed Jim Courtright. The affair created intense excitement, and in a few seconds after the shooting, the street was blocked with an excited throng of men eager to hear all the details of the homicide. From Boney Tucker, the well-known young policeman, a Gazette man obtained the following version. I was standing chatting with District Clerk Taylor and my brother Rowan in front of the Cabinet Saloon, corner of Main and 3rd Streets. We'd been talking of going to the show downtown. A few minutes before that, however, a man had approached me and asked me if I had 2 guns. He appeared considerably excited and said that there was going to be trouble between Jim Courtright and Luke Short. I told him he couldn't get a gun from me. This was about 7:30 and was the first intimation I had that there was going to be any kind of trouble. I repeated what the party had told me to my brother and remarked that I wanted him to stay by me. If there was going to be trouble, it must be stopped, and I wanted somebody that I could rely on. Just about the time this was said, the crack of a pistol rang out, and I knew that the trouble had opened up. Then we ran toward the firing, and about the time John Stewart's corner was reached, another shot was heard. 2 more reports followed in quick succession, and then a 5th, and the last, just as I came upon Luke Short, who was at that time the only man that I saw. He was standing some 12 or 15 steps north of the shooting gallery. Fearing that he might shoot me in the excitement of the moment, I dodged around him and grabbed his pistol. It was a Colt .45 caliber. Rowan also grabbed him, and about that time Officer Pemberton came up. Then I saw Courtright. He had fallen just inside the shooting gallery, his feet extending out into the sidewalk. When I reached him, he was dying, and though I bent over and spoke to him, he never articulated a syllable. He grasped his gun in one hand, a .45 of the same make as the one that killed him. The chambers were full of cartridges, showing that he had failed to get in a shot. 3 bullets had taken effect. 1 broke his right thumb, the 2nd passed through his heart, and the 3rd struck him in the right shoulder. I believe it was the 2nd shot fired that killed him. He was a dead man within 5 minutes after I reached him. Sheriff Shipp, Marshal Ray, Rowan Tucker, and myself then took Short to the county jail. Later in the evening, this reporter called at the jail and was allowed to see the prisoner. Luke Short is a small man of quiet and gentlemanly manners. There's nothing about him suggestive of the desperado. He's one of the most widely known sporting men in the West and has the reputation of being generous to a fault. No man can be more unobtrusive in demeanor, yet he is known to be thoroughly game. Several years ago, in an Arizona town, he fought a duel with one of the most desperate men in that territory. His first bullet pierced his opponent's heart. The 2nd broke his neck. The duel was pushed on him by the other, and public sympathy fully sustained Short. He talked very calmly, and he said in substance to the Gazette man, "Of course it is an affair to be regretted. If I felt that I was in the wrong, I wouldn't like to talk about it. But as I wasn't, there's no reason to refrain from telling how it happened. In the first place, I want to say that it was all of a sudden, all unexpected by me. There had been no previous disagreement between us. Early in the evening, I was getting my shoes blackened at the White Elephant when a friend of mine asked me if there was any trouble between Courtright and myself, and I told him there was nothing. A few minutes later, I was at the bar with a couple of friends when someone called me. I went out into the vestibule and saw Jim Courtright and Jake Johnson. Jake and I had talked for a little while that evening on a subject in which Jim's name was mentioned, but no idea of a difficulty was entertained. I walked out with them upon the sidewalk, and we had some quiet talk on private affairs. I reminded him of some past transactions, not in an abusive or reproachful manner, to which he assented, but not in a very cordial way. I was standing with my thumbs in the armholes of my vest and had dropped them in front of me to adjust my clothing when he remarked, "Well, you needn't reach for your gun," and immediately put his hand to his hip pocket and pulled his. When I saw him do that, I pulled my pistol from my hip pocket too and began shooting, for I knew that his action meant death. He must have misconstrued my intention in dropping my hands before me. I was merely adjusting my clothing and never carry a pistol in that part of my dress. This was in substance all the prisoner had to say about the killing, told in a characteristically calm style. Courtright's remains were taken to his home on East 2nd Street, where a wife and 3 children, the eldest a girl of about 14 years, were almost distracted with grief. Their heart-rending sobs over the body of the lifeless husband and father were pitiable to hear. It was a sad, sad ending for them. After going through so many desperate scenes, and after having finally, though recently, come clear of all entanglements, it seemed hard that he should pass away by violent means.